The tree that toured the world, a theoretical outcome under the eco-centric philosophy of influence of art. www.inkfluenceofart.com #INK. Imagine this. We take a young oak sapling, a symbol of resilience, wisdom, and rooted potential, and guide it around the world. We show it the shimmering deserts, the frozen tundra, the wild oceans, and the neon-lit cities. We tell it stories of human love, struggle, innovation, war, and art. We whisper into its leaves the meaning of monuments and melodies, and we let it feel the heartbeat of the earth through every vibration, every breeze. And after this pilgrimage of presence and observation, we humans, in our flawed yet hopeful wisdom, choose what we believe is the most sacred place to plant it. A place of safety, beauty, and belonging. Then we bury its roots deep in chosen soil, carrying with it all the memories of a world it can no longer walk through. What happens next? There are two theoretical outcomes, both deeply telling of our human projection onto nature. Outcome 1, the tree grows taller than any other. Because the tree was seen. Because the tree was known and acknowledged. It felt the touch of every culture, every cloud, every hand. And even though it can no longer roam, it roots itself with deep gratitude, carrying the world within its rings. Like a sage, it channels what it learned into growth, not outward escape, but upward expansion. It becomes a living monument of unity, embodying the story of all life. Under influence of art's eco-centric laws, this outcome aligns with our belief that awareness fosters flourishing. We nurture by noticing. We grow by grounding. Outcome 2, the tree withers quietly. Because the tree knows too much about what it can never touch again. It mourns. It dreams of the salt of sea air, the call of wild elephants, the stillness of Arctic silence. It grieves the loss of motion. It dies, not because the soil is unworthy, but because the soul of the tree was split between too many places to fully settle in one. This outcome, too, is a mirror of humanity. Sometimes, knowledge without presence becomes despair. Under our artistic philosophy, this outcome reminds us that connection is not just exposure, it's continued engagement. A lesson in slowing down, staying rooted, and creating meaning from what is, not just what was. The verdict? At Influence of Art, we do not choose between the two outcomes. We honor both, because art and nature teach us that paradox is the essence of truth. So whether your sapling grows into a global totem or becomes a gentle martyr to memory, it tells a story worth sharing. A story of movement, meaning, and the painful, beautiful weight of knowing. And maybe the real experiment wasn't what the tree learned, but what we did by taking the time to show it the world. You're not bigger than a tree. For Earth, for art, for all. Influence of Art. www.inkfluenceofart.com #INK.
I stood here still for 100 years, through laughter, storms, and children's tears. I gave you shade, I held the sky, but you walk on by, never asking why. You carve your names deep in my skin, build your dreams while I hold them in. But have you ever stopped to see there's more to me than bark and leaves? If I could speak, would you hear me then? Would you notice I breathe just like you, my friend? I give you air, I give you grace, but I've never been invited to the human race. Not once have you thought to show a sapling the stars before it grows. You take from me, but have you heard? A tree is more than what a word. You talk of rights, of love, of law, but what of roots beneath your flaw? We hold the earth, we calm the flame, yet no one ever learns our names. You carve your names deep in my skin, build your dreams while I hold them in. But have you ever stopped to see there's more to me than bark and leaves? If I could speak, would you hear me then? Would you notice I breathe just like you, my friend? But have you ever stopped to see there's more to me than bark and leaves? If I could speak, would you hear me then? Would you notice I breathe just like you, my friend? I give you air, I give you grace, but I've never been welcomed in your town. Not once have you thought to show a sapling the stars before it grows. You take from me, but have you heard? A tree is more than wood or word. You talk of rights, of love, of law, but I've never been invited to the human race. Not once have you thought to show a sapling the stars before it grows. You take from me, but have you heard? A tree is a poem without a word. You talk of a world where all things breathe, where trees and rivers can be believed, where rights belong to root and reign, not just those who stand with gain. At Influence of Art, we stand for laws that let life thrive. Join us, not just for the future, but for every life that's alive. Unless